So here we are in the back of the TT, something I don't do very often. And today we're going to have a look at a problem with the rear speakers, which appear to no longer be working. This car has got an aftermarket stereo fitted, and basically there's no sound or very little sound, and crackling and thumping noises coming from the rear speakers. This car has the non-Bose setup, so essentially you just have the two rears, and I think basically both of these have packed up. If you look at the one here on the passenger side, which I think has the amplifier in the back, if you listen carefully, you can clearly hear that the cone is no longer working. So wouldn't recommend doing this normally, but clearly there's a problem. So yeah, we're going to whip these out and then figure out what to do, whether we just go for some second-hand replacements, which to be honest I'm not considering, given I think the quality of these is rather dubious. So yeah, we'll see maybe if we can get an aftermarket replacement. So yeah, first thing to do is just remove these screws and disconnect the speakers. I've already taken obviously the rear panel out that covers this. They are a bit of a faff. You can see the little points here. There's actually a clip still left in this one, which I need to remove and put back onto the door panel. But yeah, basically I start from here and I gently just started to prise off around the panel. There's also a thing here that the rear seat clips into that you need to undo as well. But yeah, there's plenty of videos already on that. But yeah, you just have to do this very slowly because these clips are quite strong, so it does require some force to be able to pull the panel off, and just have to be careful that you don't damage it in the process. But yeah, let's get these out and then have a look. So here are the speakers removed, and in the end I decided to go with some aftermarket replacements. They were much more expensive than second-hand ones and hopefully should last a bit longer. The ones I've gone for are the Pioneers TS-G670s, 300 watts, and these are 17 centimeters, which should fit quite nicely as a replacement for these ones. So yeah, we'll do a bit of unboxing just so we can have a look. So these are just the basic speakers, obviously. Within the package you get the cables and some mounting screws which come in handy. And if we get the speakers out, we can have a look at them. Try and do this carefully. So yeah, they come with the grills, which we probably won't need as well. And as you can see, yeah, they look quite nice. And yeah, it should be good. So the one problem we got with these is fitting them in the car, because the originals, if we have a look, were onside like a mounting bracket, which we obviously don't have. Now, what I do have is a 3D printer, so I'm thinking about trying to essentially replicate the fittings here and then try and see if we can build a mounting plate for it. What makes it slightly more complicated is that the passenger side has this amplifier module which I want to keep, so that we can have the original connector, and then we can probably put a connector onto that to attach to the new speakers. So yeah, I'm going to take some measurements now of this and see if we can 3D print a bracket for mounting the new speakers that can also take the amplifier as well, certainly for the passenger side. So here's the design I came up with for the Pioneer speakers, and you can see the version on the right has the additional fittings for the amplifier module. I'll put a link to these files in the description, and next job is to go off and 3D print these, so let's go and do that now. So here are the two brackets now printed. I did these in PLA Plus using the layer height of 0.28 with a 50% infill, and these took around 6 hours to print. So yeah, it's time to fit the speakers, and on this side we're going to remove the amplifier off the old one and attach it on here. So yeah, let's go and do that. So here are the speakers now mounted into the new brackets, and they seem to fit quite nicely. I used the original screws that came with the speakers, and just before I put them in I just used a 3mm drill bit just to make sure that the hole was large enough for the screws in, and I sort of slowly eased the screws in and out just to help the self-tapping screw make a good thread, and also just careful not to split the print, as it all can happen with PLA when you're printing it. And for the other one, you can see I've got the amplifier now mounted onto the back. Again, seems to fit quite nicely. I opted to solder in the connections onto the speaker, as I fancied a bit more of a permanent connection, and means I didn't have to splice into the wiring. So yeah, and then we're just going to obviously use the existing connector that's on the car. So yeah, next step is to get these into the car and see how they sound. So the speakers are now fitted into the car and seem to be working nicely. Just had to slightly reroute this cable just to make it long enough so it could fit onto the amplifier. And if we take a look at the other side, seems to fit pretty good as well. So yeah, pretty happy with that, and wasn't too bad. And if we play some music now, then you can hear that the speakers seem to be working good, and it's good to get the sound working again in the back. So yeah, I hope you found this useful, and thanks for watching.